Hello everyone, I'm Dead Knight and this is In It to Win It. Year of the Gryphon has finally landed and season 85 is here, and we are seeing which decks are going to be the top decks and what I did for my early legend run for season 85. So before we begin, don't forget to click subscribe below to get updates to our channel and see when we have new videos coming out, and make sure you leave comments on every video you watch. So, season 85. For me, the Legend run took place, Legend on the fourth day of the season with Control Warlock. This meta is a little bit frustrating for a lot of players. There are very few decks that are showing to be viable, with only a couple classes seeing a lot of play. Obviously, dominating the meta right now is a no minion spell mage build, which is most of them are centered around abusing Deck of Lunacy. Then we have another set of popular decks that is Paladin, which is usually either going to be Librams or Secrets, but both of them centering around playing between 5 and 7 Secrets and Sword of the Fallen, which as predicted is a total monster card. Both of these decks, according to hsreplay.net, which is a great site for Hearthstone stats, are the only two that are in the 50% win rate consistently. However, Control Warlock is a very good matchup to use against both of these decks for a couple reasons. So you'll see the list next to me over here, and where is this deck going to excel? So has a lot of early game presence in the form of Armor Vendor and Spirit Jailer, which are both 1/3 minions for 1 mana. So these minions can often survive to turn 2 and trade favorably with the early Paladin minions, or if you can get one of these guys on the board before they can get their buffs on their minions, you can just trade these minions right out. So these are solid minions in the early game that also heal you either immediately or throughout the game. So getting a quick board presence with these cards is crucial. Then you have your early 2 mana spells in the form of the newly buffed Drain Soul, and also of course Soul Shear. So these cards again are going to keep Paladin off the board at the early game where they can snowball the game out of their control, and also importantly put stats on the board to help you against spell mages, just obscene amounts of damage in the form of early Mask of Cthulhu's if they don't get their Deck of Lunacy. So you really need these early game presence cards. Where Control Warlock really excels, though, is being able to constantly put out credible threats in the mid and late game. So not just the early board presence, but the constant board presence alongside the removals. So you got Tamsin Roame, who is the new Warlock legendary that lets you replay shadow spells for 0 mana. So this lets you get a couple Drain Souls off or a couple Soul Shears off before it dies to really take control of the board. And then the hits just start coming in the form of Ogremancer, which is an absolute monster right now in this meta. Between the Secrets coming out, the Librams, no Minion Mage dropping tons of spells, even Watch Post Rogues coming out with lots of spells. So Ogremancer with a high health is going to stick on the board and be very troublesome for your opponents to deal with. So Ogremancer is the major mid-game card that you're going for. And then in the late game, we've seen most of these Control Warlock tricks before, where you get to play a Twisting Nether to clear the board, and then followed by just a row of corrupt minions such as Strongman, Tickatus, and then going at the end with Yisharge, the Defiler, to get them all back and play them again, and usually that's just too much for your opponent. So what this deck has now that it didn't have before was the newly buffed Lord Jaraxxus. This guy is a colossal finisher and is very difficult for no Minion Mage to deal with at the end of the game, because they are counting on clearing your board with either some crazy random spells and then hitting you with the Mask of Cthulhu or Nagrin Slam if they've got Deck of Lunacy out instead of that. So they need you to have no board, and every turn you get a 6/6, plus you have that weapon to chip away, and also Lord Jaraxxus can corrupt your Strongman if you are not playing Twisting Nether. So this is just an all-around massive card that has really come through great for Control Warlock. And then finally, some new support cards like Taelan Fordring have also helped a lot. Luckysoul Hoarder is performing very well in this deck, but what you're seeing here is early presence, early board removal, consistently being able to keep the board clear and put some high statted health minions on the board to keep your opponent from being able to get sucker trades, and then just winning the game with your corrupt minions at the end. Very good matchups against no minion mage. I won 5 of these matchups in a row to hit legend, and pretty good matchups against Secret Paladin. Also can hold its own against Watchpost Rogue because of that early game presence. Far Watchpost is a 2/4, not only dies to a Spirit Jailer and a Drained Soul, or an Armor Vendor and a Soul Shear, but in both those cases you still get to keep your minion on the board. So lots of great tools against all the popular decks, and I was very happy running this deck all the way to Legend in early season 85. So that would be my recommendation. You can check out this list here, full list and pastable deck list in the comments as well. Talk about some of the potentially unconventional choices in this deck. So the surprise standout here is Venomous Scorpid. So originally I wanted to stick with the older control build where you're running Free Admission and Envoy Rustwicks, but there is just not any room in this deck with the speed of this meta for those cards. Venomous Scorpid actually ended up replacing Free Admission, and for Envoy Rustwicks I just had to throw him out for another support card, so that's where Tamsin Roame came in. So Envoy Rustwicks you'd think would be your top end finisher with all those primes, but it's just too slow. You play the guy and he doesn't do anything when he hits the board, so the Paladin decks are just rolling right through him, and then you don't get to draw those primes to take the game back. And then for no minion mage, it's just not enough stats to play on turn 5. So you play this guy and usually just gets killed by an Apexis Blast, or you could get hit with a Devolving Missiles and then it does nothing for you. But it's just not doing anything on the board, and people are just blowing right through it. So that guy had to get cut. And Venomous Scorpid is actually coming in really strong. So the Poisonous is crucial against Paladin because they have some snowball minions like Crossroads Gossip that can get out of hand if they get the Sword of the Fallen out. So this guy is going to help balance out any of that, and can also discover you a spell. So against Pally, it's going to take out their large minion. Against someone like Rogue, it's going to discover some board clears to help you with the wide board that Rogue puts out. And against Spell Mage, you can pull out just whatever support card you need. Often you're just going to need some more soul fragments to get a little bit more life back. But a very versatile card, and the Poisonous has actually really helped. So a surprise winner in Venomous Scorpid, the new Year of the Gryphon core set card that I didn't think was going to get that much play because Poison's a mediocre stat, but this guy really has shined in the clutch. So what decks are you using in your attempt at a Legend run? Let me know how Control Warlock works for you. It worked really well for me, and I hope you have the same success with it. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a respectful comment below, and tune in next time.